Motivation will never be enough to accomplish your goals. I'm Danny Ferro, and in this video, I'm going to talk about why I'm not able to stay motivated, why that's okay, and what we can do instead to truly achieve our goals and unlock our athletic potential.
Runners, take your mark. Set.
When I first started running back in 7th grade, it was really easy to stay motivated. I was super excited, it was a brand new thing, and I was pretty good, which made me even more excited and even more motivated. But over time, that started to change. It was more and more difficult to be motivated. I would constantly have to watch these motivational and inspiring videos to get me prepared for track meets or just for practice, and then eventually that wasn't enough, and it just sort of faded away when I would be on breaks or holidays, vacations, whatever it is, and I knew deep down that I should go for a run, I should train, but it was extremely difficult to be motivated. I had no desire to do it, and it was hard to keep the long-term goals in mind in the moment when I would have to do the hard thing. So motivation is not going to be enough in the long term. You're not going to be able to achieve your goals on motivation alone. Motivation's not all bad, but there's something we can do instead that's really going to change the way that we approach our goals and really allow us to be successful and meet those. I'm going to talk about that at the end of the video, so stick around. So motivation can be helpful. There's a few things that motivation does that there's not really anywhere else to get that. And the first thing that it does is it gets us excited. It gets us passionate. It gets us really wanting to do these new and exciting things. And then it also gets us started. It gets us going. People say that the most difficult thing to do is to start. The first 5 minutes of any difficult task are the hardest time. So when we're motivated, we can do those things rather easily. And if we're really passionate about something and really motivated by that, the difficult things, the hard things actually become easy. It's a lot easier to do something that you care about and feel motivated towards than it is to do something you have no interest in. Even something easy, if it doesn't matter to you, is difficult and unmotivating, but something difficult that you love and are motivated to do is easy. Motivation can inspire you to look ahead at the long term and get excited about things that haven't happened yet and may never happen, but are possibilities. It stimulates our creativity and inspires us to do these hard things to achieve the ultimate goal. However, that motivation is not always helpful and can be harmful. The reason it can be harmful is because it goes too quickly. I'm sure you've experienced, I know I have, as I mentioned, motivation just going away like that. Being super excited about something, working really hard for a day, maybe a week, maybe even a month. And then after that, once the motivation goes away, it all comes crumbling down and feels like it was for nothing. It feels like it was a waste of time. See, motivation is fleeting, and once it goes away, it requires constant refueling. You'll always have to watch the next Tony Robbins video or the Jocko Willink video to get you inspired and ready to do that next hard thing again. And eventually those things will lose their power as you become numb to them, and nothing's going to be able to get you motivated, at least not easily. We can't rely on that motivation because once we lose it, we feel as though we've lost interest and don't really care about or aren't really passionate about that thing anymore. When in reality, even things that we are passionate about, we can lose our motivation towards sometimes. And that lack of motivation can become even more demotivating. When we feel motivated and then it goes away and we're just constantly on the roller coaster of emotion following that motivation, when it's not there anymore, it is worse than if we didn't have any motivation at all. It's more difficult to do the hard task when we were once able to do it easily and now aren't able to do it easily. It becomes significantly harder than if we had never been motivated towards it at all. So there's one thing that we can look to instead of motivation that is really going to help you achieve your goals and be successful, especially in athletics, and that is discipline. I know we've all probably heard of discipline. It's doing the hard thing when you don't want to, when you're not motivated. And that discipline is going to get you all the way through the difficult tasks that you don't enjoy doing anymore. Maybe you did at one point because you were feeling motivated, but it sort of went away over time, that motivation, as we talked about, is fleeting. So what's going to keep you doing that hard thing is discipline. But where do we get discipline? Well, it's not like motivation. It doesn't come in these emotional waves. It's actually built over time like a skill. It's part of who we are. It's our character. Having discipline gets you to stick through the things when they get hard. When you're not seeing the results, that tends to be when motivation is at its lowest, and that's when discipline shines through. When you've been out and training and working really hard for months on end and haven't yet seen any results, motivation is out the door. It's gone. It checked out, took its luggage, everything is gone. All that's left is, are we willing to work hard without the results, or are we not? And that's the discipline. And once you build and develop that skill, there's really nothing you can't be successful in, especially in sports. As long as we're keeping in mind that it's important to still recover and not just outwork everybody and end up overtraining and injuring ourselves, which I talked about in a previous video that I'll link right here. But it's important to maintain the discipline and continue to work hard even when things get difficult. And as I mentioned, this discipline does not apply to just athletics. It applies to every aspect in life. But athletics can be a great way to build the skill of discipline that'll translate to other responsibilities and other endeavors and goals that you ultimately end up setting. Discipline has been known throughout all cultures to be the path to success, the path to victory, whether it's in training in sports or in creating a business or anything else that you set out to do. Without discipline, it will fail, and with discipline, it will succeed. It's almost the only factor of the equation. And so the way that you can begin to develop it is to really overcome that feeling of unmotivated. When you really don't want to do the hard thing, do it anyway. And over time, it will become easier because you'll have developed the skill of discipline. But you have to be consistent. And that's the hardest part, because it's not terribly difficult to do the hard thing once or even twice, but to do it 100 times is difficult. So be consistent, and once that skill is developed, it'll be far easier to do it in the future. That's all I had for you guys today. If you enjoyed this, if it was helpful, if it was motivating, don't forget to subscribe. You're not gonna wanna miss how you can unlock your true athletic potential and become the athlete that you were designed to be. Again, I'm Danny Ferro, and I'll talk to you all real soon. Until then, go be human.